good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to the New Bern Redevelopment Commission. Thank you for what you do in the community, for your sacrifices, and thank you for caring about the quality of life for everyone in our city. Thank you so much. Vice Chair is not here, so I will call the roll first. Let me welcome our new member, Ms. Stephanie Lovett. Welcome to the New Bern Redevelopment Commission. We look forward to having you and working with you. Thank you so much. Commissioner Morgan.
Here.
Commissioner Strickland.
Here. Commissioner
Walker. Here. Commissioner Wallace. Commissioner Tripp. Commissioner Paragoy. Alderman Bingle. Here. Alderman Best.
Present.
Alderman Harris.
Present.
We have a quorum. Thank you so much. Thank
Madam
you.
Chair, it may be appropriate at this time to swear in Ms. Lubbock if you'd like to count her participation in tonight's meeting.
Well, she's not going to participate, but we can't. I don't have that language with you.
We have that language.
You have?
We do. And I think a quorum for this commission is 5.
Yes, and I counted her. So you have to.
She needs to be sworn if she's going to be counted in that number.
That language.
Yep.
All right. That comes to you.
I guess I'm swear.
Yeah, I guess you're doing it. All right.
Being a notary Republican office, Ms. Lubbock, if you would stand, please. Raise your right hand.
I, Stephanie Lovett,
Do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
discharge the duties of my office
discharge the duties of my office
as a member of the Redevelopment Commission
as a member of the Redevelopment Commission
of the City of New Bern.
of the City of New Bern.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I should know that by heart after taking minutes for 20 years. Thank you so much. Again, welcome. We now have public comment, and just a reminder that it is limited to 4 minutes. Do we have any public comment tonight? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. Would you stand to the podium there and give us your name? I'm sure she knows it, but for the benefit of everybody.
My name is Barbara Sampson, and I was coming because I see that they did board that house, I guess as they say, it's a transitional house up on Eubanks Street, but it seems like it's turned out a bad way, you know, cattle corner. I never seen a house turned like that, the front facing somebody else's house. And so I know you're not gonna be able to straighten it out because not enough room there to do that. So are you all planning on leaving it there like that? Because something has to be done because it's not sitting right. And I know we're not gonna have it sitting in that neighborhood like that.
No, ma'am, it's not. We got an update from the mover. He said it. You know, they just set it down like that, but they are going to move it in its proper position and according to setbacks. Yes.
Okay, because I was looking at when they do turn it right, I was looking at the space that they're gonna have between there, and it looked kind of like a tight squeeze to me. So I guess they're gonna make it right. Because I know one time it was supposed to be put across the street.
Yes,
that was the original plan. But then I see that they decided on another plan to put it there, so, well, I'll be watching, my mama will be watching, so.
Okay. A lot of other people be watching too, Ms. Sampson.
And your nephew's watching with you, okay? I'm on top of it, Barbara.
We were out there on Saturday. We did a bus tour, so a lot of people are keeping an eye on it. But thank you for bringing it to our attention. Thank you.
Okay, and then I have another thing to say that the next time that you do have an opening on the Redevelopment Commission, I would appreciate if you would take me in consideration because I do be around here in enough meetings and I know about the situations that are going on around here. And so it'll be nice if you will, you know, because I know you don't really want me because I'm not going to say I'm going to call you out, but I'm going to make sure that things run like as planned. And thank you for your consideration. God bless you.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Sampson. Thank you so much. All right. Do we have any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 3. We will be approving the minutes from February 23rd and March 5th at our next meeting. And that is April, you got your calendar right there. Second Wednesday in April. Unless we have a special call meeting before that time.
April 13th.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, moving on to agenda item 4. Health and, it's the working group updates, health and wellness discussion continued from our February meeting, which was the discussion of Goal 5 of the redevelopment plan and use of the 908 Bloomfield Street. We will again be meeting and discussing that, and we can discuss it right now. We did go by there on Saturday. We did not go in. There's been a lot of work done as far as 908 Bloomfield Street as is concerned, and most of us know throughout many plans that's been done in the city, it says the use there would be health and wellness clinic as well as a resource center. And so a lot of the work done was done that with the gain of the partners moving, talking to Carolina East and some of the other partners, health department. But we do understand that there was a field assessment and architectural assessment report done by Beth Walker, who is a local architect and also a member of the commission. And that report, we'll send it to you, Commissioner Lovett, has been sent to all the commission, and probably don't have time to discuss it tonight because you haven't had an opportunity to look at it, but it is pretty in depth. If you could take just a few minutes and talk just a little bit about it. Sure. And then we're probably going to have put the commission on alert that we're more likely going to have a fall meeting because we need to get this done sooner rather than later. And we also need to look at whether we're going to work in conjunction with the whole committee, or we are going to set aside another health and wellness group, or we all work, which you all will have to come back to the commission anyway. But those are some of the things that we have to consider, but we don't want to put this off until next month. Mr. Walker.
All right, well, thank you. Chairman, we went and looked at the 908 Bloomfield Street and made an architectural assessment simply of what would need to be done for this building to be reused for any purpose, but especially for the clinic and to support our initiative number 5, as you were saying. Mm-hmm. And there are some things, we looked at it, and at one point, talking to Mr. Ruggieri at the time, we decided let's put everything in the plan that could be done to that building to improve it in order to receive grant funding for it. Understanding that not all the things that were included in the assessment would necessarily have to be done or that could be done. But I will say this, the primary things that need to be done are building accessibility. This was formerly a residence, and so it has 2 residential style bathrooms and 1 kind of added later bathroom. None of the bathrooms in the house are accessible, and since the city owns the property and would be using it to serve the public, every single one of the restrooms would need to be accessible. There would need to be accessible way into the property. Right now, it is at 2 levels. You may enter what was the garage, and that is the only area that is on grade. The rest of it is accessed by stairs. There are different levels inside the house. And did you tour it on Saturday? I'm sorry, I couldn't be part of that.
No, we went there. We did not go inside for safety reasons.
There are different, I mean, inside the building is in pretty good shape for a building that's been sitting unoccupied. But the accessibility is a main thing that will have to be done. You'll have to have accessibility. The bathrooms will have to be replaced. The roof needs to be replaced. Inside there is some water damage. It is not extensive. Our field assessment did put a price on if we replaced all the windows in the building. Most of the windows are in good shape, but we did, look to, part of our initiative is to bring all the structures that we are working on in our redevelopment area up to energy standards. So that would require replacing the windows, replacing the doors, but for the building to be occupied, that would not necessarily have to happen. It's really just the accessibility, some lot work, to make an accessible parking area. We put together that report of everything that needs to be done, and that is where the cost estimate came out from last time. And I know there was some discussion in our last meeting of it was a lot of money that, that it was going to try to make the building too fancy. I believe Taj Mahal was used, and that is unfortunately not the case with building construction materials, the price they are right now. I don't think that every thing in the cost estimate needs to be accomplished, but a good deal of it does to be occupied by the public.
Okay, all right. And I want to say to make this clear, this was done in September of 2021, and we are just receiving it, the full board. So it will be uploaded as part of our packet on the website, so anybody will be able to access it on the website. Thank you so much.
Yes.
A lot of great
and I
work.
believe the timing for that was specific to trying to achieve a grant.
Yes.
Put it out there to receive as much funding as possible through a grant.
Yes, yes.
What's that grant apply for?
I don't know the answer to that.
No, well, I've been talking to Margaret, Matt has been talking to Margaret. I got a meeting with her, but we know that we need a combination of the city's partnership, private partnership, and grants. Grants are nice, but they're a yes and a no, and they're a maybe. And so, you gotta have that in order for it to be sustainable. You gotta have that. But Margaret, she has about 3 or 4, and then had some meetings with some letters of intent. So she's doing that part. But we need to move a little quicker. Grants sometimes can take.
Alderman Best and Alderman Harris will tell you and myself that at last night's meeting, we discussed ARP funds and asked to commit $250,000 to this project. So, that's not been voted on officially, but direction has been given. So that could be a match towards getting, because it looks like that estimate's about 450. So that certainly could be the match towards that. But we did get. Is there anything else you want to add to that, Alderman Best or Alderman Harris?
Hopefully we can get the other 250 from the ARP funds as well.
Okay.
Well, but we committed 250, right,
No,
for this
did.
project?
Yeah, we did. But
Okay.
afterwards there was conversation to say possibly just allocating $500,000 and letting the redevelopment decide what they want to do with those funds, hopefully to go towards the upfit the McCotter House. And there are still the community block grant funds that, once the Asia pulls that together, that decision that may be able to assist as well. Don't know what for certain, but we are definitely wanting to partner to make sure that we can get a win for the community.
Okay, all right.
And I want to say, this was just a broad stroke. And not to the picky details of what we don't have to replace the windows, or certain parts of it. I think there's some places for cost savings in this, but I do want everybody to remember that accessibility and that the systems, the HVAC system will need to be replaced in the building. The electrical system looked like it was in pretty good shape. But the HVAC, the roofing system, and accessibility, so all the plumbing fixtures would need to be replaced.
Okay. Would it have to be elevated, the HVAC system? Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think it's okay where it is.
You're not in the floodplain, right?
Okay. Okay. All
What
right.
was your cost analysis for your plan? What was the cost?
I think it is close to 500. It is 400 and 410. $410,611.
Yes, Commissioner. Wally? 'Cause you-
What's the, turnkey ready without all the glitz and glam with the windows and all that? What is
Bells
the,
and whistles.
yeah. What is the, like you said, parking for the accessibility, bathrooms and those little knickknacks so we to get in there? How much is that?
You know, I don't have it broken down quite that way, you know, but I would say it's probably at least half of that, if not somewhere between 250 and the 400,000.
Right where the first conversation we had, what was it, 225 they were saying? 175? 225? 225, okay. Yeah, we were getting that before, and then all of a sudden it blew up to almost 500,000. So is that where we got that from, the 225 before?
No, I don't know where that came from, to be honest. I didn't even know that we had this assessment done. That might have helped us had we known that there was some numbers out there.
Yeah,
but we
well, as I was saying, you know.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, but
I'm shocked that they had that paperwork.
Yeah, we just got it.
Be for public, consumption? Or
Yes,
no?
we're gonna get it uploaded to the website.
Okay.
We'll turn it over, get it uploaded, this is part of our, packet. Again, like I said, we just received it, tonight, so, okay, yes, sir, Commissioner Strickland.
Just a couple of quick follow-ups. Ms. Walker, I'm assuming there's a multiple that you use to increase the traditional construction prices for that September date. Would that multiple still apply now, or I would assume it would only be higher now? Is that?
I would, that's a very good point. You know, there is multiplier of construction, and I'm going to say it was pretty high when we put it in there, but it is indicative of projects we've had completed in the past 6 months.
Sounds like a great project for Lowe's to get behind. That's the type of partnership we need to look at those things as well too. And we have Habitat in the building. Definitely save on cost.
Okay.
Okay, and secondly, kind of on that same lines, we had some conversations briefly on Saturday as far as that parking area that is utilized in the front is not wholly owned by the city at this time. And I understand there's some appetite for the area in the back to possibly be used as parking, but that's going to require some effort as well. So as we're talking about what it's going to cost to get that place up and operational, above and beyond the building work that needs to be done, there's going to have to be some site work done or some procurement done to get to that point. So whenever we're tossing numbers around, that's got to be a part of it as well.
Also now, I don't know if y'all was aware of, but also the gentleman that owns the lot right beside the McCarter house said that he was willing to donate that to the city.
Oh, boy, that
For parking.
He said he was willing to donate it to Mr. Jones.
Yeah.
Which side of it? The gravel side or the side?
The backside is fenced in right now, but even that area is
And
going
then
to require
Mr.
some
Jones
prep
would
work.
probably be willing to give an easement to be able to utilize it, right?
Not that side.
Would he be able to, if it's donated to Mr. Jones, Mr. Jones?
Right, he's gonna donate it, he's gonna donate to the house. The land in the front, the other part that they talk about, that might be a problem. I've been speaking to the young lady, so it's just a matter of whether the building get the approval or not. And then she'll make a decision.
Awesome, thank you for your work.
When you say Mr. Jones, who are you speaking of?
Reggie Jones.
Oh, Reggie Jones, okay.
Of the,
Initially, the person that owns the property is a family member of mine, and I told him sometimes to, right? And so when Reggie started doing it, he said that if he got that, he would help us. So that's not gonna be a problem.
All right, thank you, Mr. Holloway. Director Matt, could you get us the parking requirements for
Yeah, absolutely.
fine. Yeah, just get the commission the parking requirements.
Right, well, we'll need a use,
Yes.
so,
Yeah.
I mean, the use may need to be a little bit more specific, but we
Other than health and
can
wellness
certainly give you a range.
Okay,
community
that'll be
center, I
perfect.
think if you said community center, that could cover it.
It might be a little different than
I
what
would
the
say
health and
office,
wellness.
you know,
Yeah,
medical office.
yeah.
It's a medical clinic.
Medical clinic,
Yes.
It's probably closer
Okay, all
and
right.
better use for parking.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mhm.
So, Commission, again, if you will look, for us to, have another call meeting so we can finalize this, get a chance to look at that and get all of this here, done. So just, don't think we have couldn't be able to digest it, we here for 3 hours. Okay, all right.
Before we move on to the next subject, I just want to go on the record saying, I want to thank the Alderman for your due diligence in this matter and your support in this endeavor. We couldn't have did it without you. We thought we were going off a cliff for a little while, but now we're back on, so I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to y'all, I mean, and if I had permission, I would love to come to your next meeting to express our gratitude as well. Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, just in the spirit of being helpful, I think there was a request from the board last night for this commission to forward a cost estimate to the Board of Aldermen. So it may be that after the commission has an opportunity to digest the study conducted by Ms. Walker, I don't know if any revisions might be requested or necessary, but I would strongly recommend that you all consider furnishing some document to the Board of Aldermen, maybe by their next meeting. I don't know if that's possible because their next meeting is the 22nd of March, but as soon as practicable, so that the Board of Aldermen can take that into account when they're continuing the discussions about the allocation of the ARP funds.
Okay, okay. So next meeting is
Second.
I would say probably the first meeting in April.
It's the public comment.
Right, and public comment, which is a benefit, and then Commissioner Wallace, if you wanted to come and speak, but too, when you do what she said, it would be good to have the full, what was passed on, and then the bare minimum of what would be up to standard and get it key ready. Given those two options, the board will be able to analyze both and truly make a decision.
okay. We can get them back.
Let's do it. Yeah, we
Yes,
get it.
okay, yeah.
April what? Alderman Hunter.
12th, is it April 12th?
April 12th.
April 12th.
That's the first meeting in April. Excuse me, second Tuesday in April. That's our first meeting.
Yeah.
That's confusing.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Okay. Excuse me. Moving on to housing, the status of the move to Eubanks Street, the bid for repairs. As we saw on Saturday, the house is moved there. The mover has to do some other things to it, and so we need to discuss the bid for repairs and the RF piece. And I think Ms. Fulmore, staff is going to be working on that. Is the I want to you know anything.
I'm waiting on some bid documents.
You waiting on bid documents? Okay, okay, all right. And so, housing working group, when she gets those, we will need to take a look at them, because we will be having some other expenses, I'll call them, coming out of the redevelopment commission's fund with, some assessments and different things like that. So we're gonna need to look at those. So, okay. All right, neighborhood partnerships, Duffyfield cleanup project. So.
Yes, first of all, Madam Chair, let me thank everyone who came out to go on the tour with us on Saturday. I think it was very instrumental in allowing everyone to get a lay of the land, so to speak, to be able to come out and see the actual terrain instead of just looking at a map. And just because you may not have seen a lot of my neighbors and the community, they definitely saw us and they started talking, so it was a good thing for us to be seen, to be out walking. I wanted to thank Mr. Williams for jumping right on that situation with the house on Eubanks Street to get it boarded up. It was not boarded up, it was not roped off, and there were no cones out when the guys left it. I have since then been in contact with the movers and have a number for them, and they did take measurements and the house will fit where that footing is. Just wanted to make sure, because that was a concern of mine also. Me and Mr. Williams will be getting together at the early part of next week. The cleanup is going to be in a 3-phase process, and we're going to ride out, and what we're going to do is we're going to address some fairly easy things that will show some progress, but will also be something that will be able to be seen. We still need to get the buy-in, we still need to get the assistance, and we still have to have the partnership of the city, Public Works, and the community all working in concert. So Mr. Williams and myself will be going out next week, and hopefully next meeting we'll be able to give you a little bit more comprehensive report as it goes to the locations that we'll be going with first, second, and then that third wave.
Okay, all right. Would y'all two take a look over Bellum and all that and see if there's anything that needs to be done there, or can it wait for phase 2?
That's going to be a little bit more difficult phase that we've already seen that will require a little bit of heavy duty equipment. We will not be using any heavy duty equipment in the first phase. It's going to be mostly manpower and kind of bringing everybody out to make sure that we have that buy-in and the input from the community so that we can have a fairly easy win. That's what we're about right now, is wins.
Okay, all right.
But we do have, and right there where we met, not to say that the heavy duty equipment is going to be needed there, but there's some other places right up the street there that we'll bring to the board's attention.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. Okay, all right, yes.
Ms. Morgan, whenever you guys do that tour and kind of put that initial list together, and it may be in or outside of the purview of the neighborhood side of things, but one of the things that came up a couple of times with a couple of our different commission-owned lots are some stuff that need to be addressed there. So can we put a little bit of focus on those lots and kind of keeping our own house in order with the lots we have? And if whenever we get to the point of the heavy equipment, I'd sure love for that trailer that's vacant right now to be one of the things that comes out.
That is one of the things that is in our sites. Also, some of the property that the city does own, we need to start putting dumpsters out because we are not getting gratification as it relates to the garbage pickup. And as I stated last week, it has become more of a headache just because we're dealing with multi-generational single-family homes that have more than 3 or 4 people, and those trash cans are filling up, then the recyclables are filling up, they're not emptying them properly. So we need to get and make sure that we have different dumpsters in place on city lots that the community can go out and so that they can free up their cans.
The mangroves that we saw on the tour, is that on your list to get that?
The brush is definitely on our list.
Especially the ones on our lot.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay.
That's one of the words from the Kaplan handbook, so we got that straight. But there's a lot of overgrown brush that the city ordinance does not say that you have to go clean it up if you're not, and you haven't been ordinarily cleaning it up. But that's something that we're going to take on, and that's going to be in the second wave because we're going to take out a lot of brush that is overgrown, and it's really a danger.
Okay. Now, is this the spot where we saw on with the house that was half burned, and that we needed to kind of?
He's talking about 8th Street.
Eighth Street, yeah.
I don't know if that's what Robbie's talking about.
That is exactly what I'm talking about.
We're good.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right, sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. Excuse me. All right, agenda item, I think we're at 5. Yes, we're at 5. The agreement with Dr. Caldwell. Agreement with Dr. Caldwell update. Everyone should have received a professional services agreement with Dr. Caldwell. His deliverables should be on page 8 on the rear there. We will be having some conversations and meetings with him. As of yet, we have not gotten all the deliverables, so we need to have a conversation with him. If you look on page 8, Exhibit A, you will see what the deliverables are. There was a session conducted, I know, at Craven Terrace. Mr. Ruggieri was working with him, so we need, as the commission, we need to get updated so we know where we need to go from there. But we do know item 2, create a design concept document which shall include residential design elements and a conceptual site plan has not happened. The conversation was that he could not find an architect at that time. We need to get updated on that. Number 3 was provide a development plan, timeline, and budget estimate for the implementation of said development plan. So we need to see where this is, because as I stated last month, we are a year and a half behind because of COVID and other things, and we need to get moving on some things. So we need to make some decisions as far as this is concerned. But first thing we need to do is have a conversation with him, with the staff that is currently here and others, so all of us will know where it is, and all of us can be on the same page. Because, like I said, Mr. Ruggieri handled a lot of that. So that's where we are, and that's the update for that. Is there any questions from the commission or? Okay.
So, Madam Chair, is the commission giving direction to staff to take any particular action?
Yes. Yes. We would like for you to set up a meeting with Dr. Caldwell and myself, Attorney Mosley, Mr. Williams, if possible, and one other person from the housing working group. And I don't think that would give support. Yeah. And so we could do a Zoom call. Zoom, if possible, is better.
Right.
But if not, we'll take a phone call.
We don't need to pay him to fly in.
No, no. Don't need him to fly in.
Yeah.
Unless he wants to on his company.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
On his time.
All right. All right, item 6, discussion and results from the tour. We talked a little bit about that, and along with everyone else, I would like to say thank you. We had a lot of the public citizens from that area and people that were concerned with the area that came as well. And so again, thank you so much. I thought that it went very well. We learned a lot. I told Miss Tiffany I should have invited her along, but she couldn't take the walk. But she's wearing sneakers now, so next time she will be able to take the walk. But I told her that we were going to invite her to the commission meeting too, so that we can hear, need no gossip, no rumors, no myths, nothing. That we can hear directly from her what is going to happen there, because Trent Court is in the redevelopment boundaries, and so we can hear directly from her. But I want to open it up to the commission for any comments that you may have from the tour, and Alderman Harris, if she has any. Yes.
Drinking tea tonight, so
yes.
I ain't never talked this much before, but
really,
I don't believe that. Not to you. I'm just doing sidebars. I'm usually not on the record, so. But I do want to say, like we've been talking about wins for the community and the optics of the good work that we've been trying to do for the last 3 years, and it moved me when we got over there. I call it the Cricket House. I grew up watching the Flying House, but that's the Cricket House. So when we got over there, we stepped out, and the citizen, I'm not going to call her name, I know her well. You know who I'm talking about. When she came out of her house and tears coming down her face, you saw it. You saw it. And she was just so touched that aldermen were there, we were there, and something was being done for us to tell her this will be done with all expedient speed. Didn't we, Steve? You were with me over there. And then to come in here Monday, when we were at the block grant meeting, and to see the citizens that were about to voice their concern right here in this, use the block grant money to try to turn it. But then when it got to that particular citizen, she leans back and say, what I was going to say has been taken care of. Now me sitting on this, now that was worth it. That was worth this, our blood, sweat, tears we've done on this commission for 3 years. It was worth it. That was my payment right there, sitting right there. It was beautiful. And I would be remiss if I didn't say it. I'm going to say the good thing, right? That was beautiful. But again, that's the community, as Robbie just said, seeing work actually being done. Not just promises, but work actually being done. And it was, I think, personified in that moment. I mean, it was beautiful. So that's, I won't say nothing else, Chair.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry that I was not able to attend the tour, but believe me, I visit the area often, and I see a lot of things that needs to be done in the area, and I have made a lot of requests to the city about certain things in the area that needs to be corrected. And I hope that at some point in time that this commission won't have to plan a cleanup, that we'll have our neighborhood, that our citizens will be like, let's keep our neighborhood clean. Let's take discipline ourselves. And I think it's going to come to that because the citizens, like you said, the citizens see what this group and the city, other departments in the city, is trying to do to help clean up the area and help get affordable housing, all of that. I could go on and on, but I'm not. But so I know that that's coming down the road, that our citizens is gonna jump in and they're gonna take the rope and they're gonna pull it, and all of this is gonna be cleaned up one day.
Yep.
We're gonna sit back and we're gonna have a whole new Duffyfield, greater 5 Points.
Sister?
I'll just throw a couple quick comments out. Thank you everyone that came and was a part of it. I mean, it was nice to get the whole group together, and the public that came along as well. I think that bus was mostly full, and there was a convoy of cars following behind it. So that was nice to have everybody out and just kind of make the little stops and let everybody be a part of the conversations that have taken place on the various sites between Jones Street and Second and A. Spent a lot of time out on those lots trying to work out the different pieces, looking at maps, working everything out of what could potentially go there. So it was nice to have an opportunity to just kind of convey a little bit of that vision to everybody else. So.
Yeah, it was. My favorite part was Daisy, and many of us remember a lot of things that were there, and just standing on the lot and just looking out and seeing all the possibilities of things, remembering, when you were there at the record store while your mama was at the doctor's office and, getting the shot by Dr. Barnwell and that, but I agree with all of this. One day. One day, it ain't gonna be as long as what we think either. So it was really worth it, and the bus with the citizens and everything, it was really fun. Even though they picked on me for Coach K, it's all right. It's all right.
You ain't the only one. They got me doing that.
Yeah, I'm all right with it.
ACC tournament's coming.
Yeah, I have a comment because I know.
I was unable. I was out of town last week.
Commissioner Moore, you have anything else you need to say?
Just to touch on what you and Alderman Bessel just spoke on, during our last community cleanup, right after they saw that heavy duty equipment and saw those different dumpsters out there, and when they saw a wave of city workers that were coming out and helping, in the weeks to come, the community said, hey, we have a fresh start. And they did start to come out, and even Jeff Ruggieri, some of the commissioners, when they would ride through, they would see people actually out picking up trash. And they were doing their own cleanup. And when they saw us out, and even the New Bern Police Department, I made a post on Facebook, I think, last year. I woke up one morning, there were just 3 or 4 police cars outside of my home. I came out and wanted to see what was going on. The cars were vacant. I knew they were around there somewhere, but the policemen, they had buy-in. They were around in my community picking up trash. So I went to a couple of neighbors' house. I said, hey, I know you got kids. If they can be out here, they need to come out. And they said, yeah, they went and got the kids up 8:30 in the morning, and they were out picking up trash. So it's going to be contagious. It's going to be something that's going to catch hold, and it's going to catch fire, and they just want to be all in the redevelopment area, just giving a little bit of attention. And when you give them that attention, then they're going to come out and do their part. And one of the main things that's going to keep some of that trash off the ground is when we come up with some kind of plan to make sure that these cans are being emptied on a regular basis, being emptied properly, and that the drivers are not just knocking cans over, whatever's falling out, either the homeowners or whoever it is, but we can't just continue to let this trash linger, let it sit, and say, hey, I'm gonna turn my head and I'm gonna act like I don't see it. Well, you definitely see it because you step over it every day, and that's what we have to get into everybody's head to work on the same accord. But I do agree, it won't be as long as it has been.
Thank you, thank you. It's just, you know, you think about it, and Alderman Bingham knows this, but we've been talking about that same thing with trash cans. So there has to be a solution, I mean, for the last 20-something years. So is it that we need to talk to GFL? We need to do, is it getting a committee together or something?
Yeah, right now the trash pickup is once a week. And we're saying, you know, that isn't enough because they're overflowing. Is it that we give each person an additional trash can? Would that help if they don't want to do an additional pickup? I don't know. There's got to be a halfway mark, but we need Public Works to sit down.
One of the main problems is that you have multi-generational. You have different, a lot of people in that house, and but they have a recycle bin that's empty. So when that trash can fills up, they're going to put it in the recycle bin. Then the guys in the truck are not going to empty this, but then when it fills up, they say, well, now I can't empty it because of recyclables, because you have garbage in it.
Yeah.
And so it's a never-ending cycle that we have to address, and it's going to have to be addressed, whether it be an extra day of cleanup, whether it be just a couple of trucks that just come out and say, hey, once or twice a week, we're just going to pick up everything. But the recyclable pickup definitely needs to be more than once a month.
That's county now. That is county. That has nothing to do with the city. That's a
But
separate contract.
But they're picking it up in the city.
I understand that, but I mean, that's everybody in the city. It's once a month, everybody. That's a problem.
I would love to be a part of the committee that meets with the powers that be or the company to make sure, because there's got to be an issue. If you don't live over there, or if you don't live in it, then you don't see it.
Yeah.
Just driving through is not going to be good enough. Walking through is not going to be good enough. This is something that has to be addressed because we see it and live it every single day.
Mr. Morgan, is what you're speaking of in just one area, or is it all over?
Everywhere.
It's everywhere.
It's all over?
But it's concentrated over in the redevelopment area because it just looks like it's part of the landscape. And I hate to say it, trash should not be part of the landscape of the redevelopment commission, because people are not going out throwing it on the ground. Wind is blowing as they try to pick it up because there's so much trash in there, it blows out. The drivers are not getting out. They're not picking up what falls on the ground. They're not getting up, picking those cans up.
My understanding,
No, that's what I said, is that it's everywhere.
is they cannot get out in it. They cannot get out because they've been, I don't want to say, their safety. They can't get out like they used to because people were coming. And I think we had the same issue when the cans first came. Remember, everybody was saying the same thing. The cans are not large enough. People have more trash than that. Even if you recycle everything, you know, you still, I mean, the cans are not that large. So that's been the complaint for a long time all over the city when they first started using them. So it's a combination of things. So I think probably it's, like I said, getting together with them, Public Works, and what together, because it needs to be.
Can we set that up with Public Works and get
Dick Daly.
Dick Daly, he's the
I speak to him all the time.
I was gonna say he would be the one to get to the table and you know, try to work and see if they would consider an extra pickup day or whatever it would be, or you know, additional trash cans. I'm wondering if a dumpster got placed there, so what didn't fit in their trash can to go to the dumpster.
That's one of our plans to have 3 dumpsters placed out.
Would they walk to it though and
Thank
put the
you.
trash
Bless
there?
you, Ms. Sampson.
Or would you have to push your can up to, you know, there's certain ways, and then you'd have to issue out trash bags. But there are ways that we can alleviate some of that trash from being on the ground.
They do, but that's a county process.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we could, because I mean it's in the redevelopment area, so it is part of our concern. So if we could get a meeting or just talk to them and find out where we go from here.
Yes,
Can I speak?
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
One time, about 2 years ago, I read an article about the trash cans because we had had this problem once before. And they said that they was looking into getting a bigger container, like an 18-gallon, 26-gallon trash can, and giving the residents more than one. You know, like you do a survey, how many is in your home, you know, then that'll tell you how many trash cans you can own or how many trash cans they're gonna give you. Because like he says, people come from all the generations, and back there by the graveyard, people come out all the time, like, and you can see bags where they come back and throw the trash back there and there.
So it's just really a matter of them resurveying and seeing what's, you know, well, it's just time to revisit it again. But thank you so much. Director Matt, Mr. Williams, anything regarding the tour? Thank y'all again. I got you back by 12:30. You didn't buy me lunch, but that's okay. I understand.
No, it was great.
Yeah, I haven't been here that long, but I can tell you all what's really inspiring or motivating is the efforts by the alderman and alderwoman to address a lot of these issues has really been inspiring. You know, the biggest thing I've noticed is they realize that these communities aren't looking for a handout. You know, they're really looking for a hand, and just as the commissioner said, you know, the people recognize that, and I think with the efforts that they're making and that we're trying to do right now is going to go a long ways. And I tell you, I really enjoyed the history that was given by a lot of the people driving around with it. That was really good to hear.
I see they didn't buy you a chicken sandwich either.
You know, we can't talk about that.
I didn't know 17 and 70 was one road. I found that out at 18. I had no idea that was one road.
It was the main road. That was the main road in and out of New Bern.
That was the only way to get down anywhere east of New Bern.
Right there.
Over that little bridge by the Sudan.
Yes.
A lot of interesting. Let us go to item. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got all kind of pictures of you. Yes, we need you to comment.
I just wanted to say, you know, I appreciate all the hard work that everybody on this commission does. I know sometimes it can be a thankless job and it can be very emotional and stressful because you go through the communities and you see the wants and the needs. And when it comes to, you know, revitalization, it's not just a neighborhood, it's mind, body, and soul, and health, and you have a lot that you have to do and a lot at stake, and so I appreciate your hard work, and it was fun getting on the bus for the first time. I've been here 11 years, never been on a city bus, and taking the tour, and again, hearing the history, and thank you, Marvin, for jumping on the safety for the community and making sure that that house got taken care of. And it's just nice to see, you know, to fruition what's going on for, you know, 3 years. This was something that Alderman Bingo was very big on, and one of, you know, what she wanted to do with the commission, and we were all in agreement. And I'm just excited where you guys are going, where we're going to go. And like you said, eventually there will not be this commission because you've done everything that you needed to do for that community, and they're going to maintain it from there. So again, thank you for your hard work. I appreciate you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Item 7, I think we are discussion on conveyance of the property located at 14 Washington Street. We did visit there on Saturday. And so,
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I've received several phone calls regarding 1412, 1414 Washington Street. As I've indicated in previous meetings, these are 2 properties that are owned by a gentleman. I'm not sure if I gave the entire background, but the gentleman who owns these properties is very ill, and he is seeking a transplant of some sort. And he has to unburden himself of these properties. This is what he has conveyed to me, in order to be eligible for certain benefits that would allow him to move forward with his transplant. There are some taxes that are owed on this property, as you may recall, as well as a deed of trust. As far as encumbrances go, the deed of trust is significant. It's supposed to be paid off in either June or July, depending on whether you talk to the owner or the person you bought it from. the amount that's owed on the deed of trust is somewhere between $1,500 and $2,500, depending on who you talk to. And Mr. Day and the person who he financed the property from are in continued discussions about how to resolve the issue of the deed of trust. One of the agents involved that I've been dealing with has asked that the Redevelopment Commission consider acquiring this property in June, which would give them time to unencumber or extinguish the deed of trust that currently encumbers the property. That would not necessarily do away with the tax issues. I know that, I think the county has already started the tax foreclosure process on one of these properties, but that is the current status. So if the board, if the commission is inclined to acquire these properties, understanding that it's close to the Duffyfield Canal and may aid in some of that process, if you were to try to acquire it now, you would be acquiring a property that has a deed of trust, that has potential tax foreclosure, and also includes an inhabited structure that may or may not meet our minimum housing code, that has a tenant in it. So those are some significant issues, none of which have been resolved since the last meeting, and may not be resolved until sometime in the summer.
Okay. Commissioner Strickland, Commissioner Wallace, had that discussion already.
Yeah, we did. What about the occupant right now?
So the current occupant has been there for 9.5 years. It's my understanding he's been paying rent that entire time. According to the current owner, he's been a very good tenant. At this time, I don't think there's been any conversations with that tenant about possible acquisition, sales, or what have you. I have not spoken to that individual, so that's all the information I have about the current occupant.
I'm looking to see if there are any other comments in any way, shape, or form from any board member. My thought, and I'm going to look at legal for an answer here. I believe that we need to go into a closed session to discuss officially moving to acquire property.
If you want to talk about the material terms of a contract, you would need to go into closed session. And by material terms, I mean contract price, and any particulars that might be necessary to effectuate the contract. If you are talking generally about your willingness or unwillingness to acquire the property, that would need to happen in an open meeting.
Okay. If there are no further comments, then I would like to say that I'm generally willing to discuss the details of acquiring that property. So I'll let the rest of the commission members make any comments they'd like to have, and then consider a motion made to go into closed session after the comments.
Commissioner Moore? Any comments?
No, I don't have any comments.
Okay. You want to go into closed session
To discuss the
Okay, so
material details of acquiring the property.
we need a motion then.
So I think Commissioner Strickland's motion is to go into closed session to discuss the possible acquisition of real property pursuant to North Carolina General Statute, Chapter 143-31811, subsection 5.
Is that your motion, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have a second?
I have a question. Are we talking about, are we only going to discuss one parcel of property? Or are we going to just
1412.
1412,
Right.
1414.
Okay.
That one particular property.
But no other properties other than those?
Correct.
In closed session?
Specifically, material conditions to a real estate contract.
I'll second the motion.
Since she already said.
You can turn it.
I'm crazy.
All in favor, aye.
I'm not even here.
Okay.
Since Mr. Morgan had a question, I have a question. Can I ask, what is the commission's plans for this parcel of land, for these two parcels of land right there beside a canal?
The immediate need has been the interest has been conveyed to the commission from the city for the value of that property for the upcoming planned Duffyfield Canal cleanout, and that being allowed to use the laydown area.
Okay.
And then generally kind of associated with that canal thing.
Are you familiar with the sliver that they're talking about?
We saw.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're speaking of.
Whenever you said sliver, I was gonna say we saw no snakes out there on Saturday.
You see any?
And we're not gonna discuss it.
They coming.
That's what I knew you were coming.
Madam Chair, procedurally,
Oh,
was there
I'm
a
sorry.
second to Mr. Strickland's motion?
Yes.
Okay,
Commissioner
Ms. Walker, was there there a vote?
Yes, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, we are in closed session. Okay, our last agenda item, we found out that we could not take the vote of Commissioner Wallace. He was getting breakfast, and we could not take his vote because he was on the phone, and so we have to vote again for the resolution to hire search firm for, well, not to hire, to give funds towards up to $25,000 toward the hiring of a executive search team for the executive director of the Redevelopment Commission.
Oh, that was at the
No, I'm like,
So just so everybody's clear about what this is.
Yes.
Because some of you may not have gotten the benefit of the full explanation during the Saturday whirlwind tour. The Board of Aldermen has made a significant commitment to the Redevelopment Commission's continued success. And in February, the second meeting in February, the Board of Aldermen voted to fund a full-time position, an executive director for the Redevelopment Commission. And what the city manager has asked is, and I think the pay range is, I think $71,000 to about $115,000. That's the pay range, which would, the individual would be a city employee, there would be benefits from now until the mission is accomplished. And what the manager has asked is that the Redevelopment Commission aid in the search for the executive director. This will be a nationwide search and would utilize an executive search firm to scour the four corners of the earth for the best talent, to bring those individuals to the city of New Bern for the stakeholders to vet that individual and ultimately to make a selection. So the manager estimates that that executive search firm cost could be up to $25,000, and it has been requested that the Redevelopment Commission consider allocating funds up to $25,000 to aid in that search. So what was before you on Saturday was for this body to authorize the chair to sign a resolution pledging up to $25,000 to finance the executive search. I think based on the poll that happened on Saturday, I think you're inclined. But since we have a quorum in living color tonight, we need to make it super duper official.
Mr. Wallace,
So
you
you
can
still
vote.
have a quorum even though she's not voting?
She can vote.
And she was sworn in.
Okay.
And Madam Chair, just on the record, as I did at the meeting on Saturday, would wish to recuse myself from the topic and the vote due to a potential conflict of interest financially down the road.
So with that being said, are you saying that you have
Concerns.
a conflict?
Yes.
Okay. So there would need to be a motion, a financial interest. There would need to be a motion to recuse Commissioner Strickland.
That part I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. That is because if you have a you have to state what your conflict of interest is, and then the board has to vote to accept your statement.
Yes.
Or reject your statement.
Is that required for the Redevelopment
If you
Commission as
recuse
well?
yourself, if that means you just are not voting,
It's still
then
considered a yes vote.
it would be a yes vote.
Okay, we'll consider myself recused.
Well, you have to state the basis for you say you have a financial interest. Can you indicate what the
that
financial?
interest is the discussion being made of someone be potentially considering requesting me to be involved in that process as it goes forward down the road as far as applying.
Okay. Did everyone here understand Mr. Strickland's reason?
You may be interested in applying for the position.
I've been approached and considered.
Okay, that was easy.
So I was trying to keep everything above and beyond.
So that is technically a financial, right?
So that means you don't go forward.
Well, if he's still present, isn't that still a quorum? But it's still, we still have a
You have a
quorum.
quorum to conduct the meeting. So when 5 people show up that are voting members, you have a quorum. The question is, can he participate in the vote? And based on his stated financial conflict of interest, if you are inclined to accept that reason, someone would need to make a motion to recuse Mr. Strickland.
Well,
You got
it's 4.
3,
Vote.
4, 5. You got 5.
We got 5 before vote. After this. All right, make a motion.
No, you got 5 excusing Mr. Strickland.
Okay.
Because
But he has
Ms.
to make a
Lovett
motion to accept his reason,
Yes.
his reasoning.
I'll make a motion to.
Before you do that, I'm trying to understand, so I'm not slow. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Who's the fifth? Who would
1,
be the
2,
fifth vote?
3, 4,
Oh,
5.
you're, okay, I didn't
Yes.
forget. Okay, my bad, no disrespect. Oh, you forgot me earlier.
Did y'all see her pay me back? Nobody's gonna help me, right? All right, we got it. We even, right?
Okay, now I got it.
Okay,
Yes,
so.
no, recuse. So it's
Make a motion to accept,
to recuse Mr.
to
Strickland.
recuse Mr. Strickland from this particular vote.
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays, ayes have it. Okay. So now we need a motion, allowing me to sign the resolution not to exceed $25,000 for, the hiring. Yes.
I make a motion to empower the chair to sign the resolution to move forward for a max. Don't get crazy out there now. Yeah. For a max of $25,000.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays, ayes have it. Thank you so much.
Would you
All
like
right.
to have a motion to bring Mr. Strickland back into the meeting?
Make a motion to bring Mr. Strickland back into the meeting.
Second it.
All in favor, aye? Nays, ayes have it. Okay,
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
all right. Thank
I know you were gonna have that tonight.